When he was 7 years old, he had a fleet of luxury cars custom-built so his little legs could reach the pedals. By 11, he was walking around in a miniature military uniform with a Colt .45 pistol on his hip and going on vacation to the Swiss Alps and the French Riviera. By the time he took power, he controlled a country of devoted worshippers. Kim Jong Un has inherited a country with nuclear capabilities, a nuclear arsenal, and a personal fortune that made him one of the richest people on the planet. Now, he has enough influence to walk into a wedding, demand to have his way with the bride and her bridesmaids, and be applauded for it. And he's determined to use every bit of that power to turn all his fantasies into reality, no matter the cost. All of the generals that were with Kim Jong Un by the hearse of his father in the funeral procession are all gone. $5 billion. That's Kim Jong Un's estimated personal net worth, according to a joint South Korean and American intelligence investigation back in 2013. That number puts him among the top 5 wealthiest world leaders, just behind big shots like Russia's President Vladimir Putin and the U.S. President Donald Trump. But he might actually be number 1. In fact, some say he's arguably worth more than Elon Musk, the man Forbes says is the richest person alive. It may sound like a stretch at first, but stay with me. You see, the $5 billion estimate is more than a decade old, and it's based on just what they could find. Kim's fortune is scattered in at least 200 secret bank accounts spread across Austria, Switzerland, Luxembourg, China, Singapore, and Russia, all open under fake names. He specifically targeted smaller banks, the kind that don't ask too many questions. When a man works this hard to keep his money hidden, do you really think we're seeing the full picture of his wealth? The truth is, the money in cash is only the tip of the iceberg. In addition to his personal wealth, Kim also controls the entire North Korean economy. In 2024, the country's GDP sat somewhere between $26.6 and $32 billion, and every single dollar of it answers to him. On top of that, North Korea is sitting on somewhere between $6 and $10 trillion in untapped mineral resources. So Kim has personal wealth, national wealth, and the kind of absolute power where nobody on the planet can ask him to explain how he's spending any of it. Even when he's swiping his card to buy hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of lingerie for his pleasure women, or flying in world-famous NBA stars for his birthday, all while about 45% of his country is starving, and people go to bed so hungry they expect to die in their sleep. Unlike Kim, who is almost certain he can't be killed even in his sleep. Because when you have that kind of money, you can afford the best security on the planet. Kim commands a 100,000-man unit called the Supreme Guard Command, a special branch of the Korean People's Army dedicated to protecting him, his family, and senior officials. These soldiers undergo extreme physical and mental training. They're armed with state-of-the-art anti-aircraft artillery, multiple launch rocket systems, tanks, and armored vehicles worth millions of dollars. Kim spends whatever it takes to keep them well-fed, well-funded, and fiercely loyal. But it's not just his guards that are loyal to him. The entire country worships him. The Kim dynasty, going back to Kim Il-sung, then Kim Jong-il, and now Kim Jong-un, are presented to the North Korean people as a line of perfect divine rulers. This bloodline is extremely important. That's how they have the legitimacy to rule, mandate to rule. That kind of power puts Kim Jong-un in a completely different league than someone like Elon Musk. Elon can give orders, but he answers to boards, regulations, and public scrutiny. Kim answers to no one. He can demand the most unimaginable thing from anyone in his country and get it. A Redditor even said that Kim could stroll into a wedding ceremony, claim the bride and her bridesmaids on the altar, and the groom would go along with it. No one knows for sure this actually happened. But in a country where kids grow up singing songs like this and adults have to walk around wearing tie pins with his face on it, it's very unlikely that he'll be denied anything. And that's a kind of wealth that no stock portfolio can compete with. When Kim attends international meetings, the moment he stands up from a chair, his aides scramble to wipe it clean so he doesn't leave behind any DNA. Even his teenage daughter, Kim Jae, gets the full royal treatment. There are reports about senior military officials kneeling when they talk to her. The reverence surrounding Kim today has deep roots. A former bodyguard recalled that even as a child, Kim was treated as something more than human, and guards were trained to protect him at all costs. Official North Korean records say Kim was born on January 8, 1983, but there's some debate about how true that actually is. If we can't even lock down something as basic as his age, think about how much more difficult it is for us to estimate the true extent of his wealth. What we do know is that he is the third son of Kim Jong Un. As a child, he was kept in near total isolation alongside his older brother Kim Jong-chul and his younger sister Kim Yo-jong. But Kim's version of isolation looked nothing like what that word usually means. He grew up in the Ryong-song residence, the official home of the North Korean leader, and the place came with private movie theaters, bowling alleys, a spa, a horse racing track, a shooting range, and swimming pools. By age 7, he was driving custom-built luxury cars, spending summers on the family's private island, and jetting off to ski the Swiss Alps or swim along the French Riviera. They entered Japan on fake Brazilian passports, spent over a week there, and returned to park multiple times, all under the watch of a team of North Korean officials. Even at that age, it was clear that the high-ranking adults in their father's regime answered to the whims of Kim and his siblings. According to his private chef, Kenji Fujimoto, Kim Jong-il kept a wine cellar with 10,000 bottles and spent somewhere between $650,000 and $800,000 on cognac every year, favoring Johnny Walker Scotch and Hennessy XO. From hidden assets to secret accounts to absolute power over resources most people will never even see, his net worth isn't just money, it's control. If this video opened your eyes, make sure you hit like, subscribe for more untold billionaire and power stories.